no. Like this. Hips tick tock when I dance. In dinner time, she might start her OnlyFans. Big E and that beat still for bands. If you wanna see some real ass, baby, here's your chance. I say left cheek, right cheek, trying to know this one. Sixes up in this thing, get you up in this game. I be following my friend, gang. Like, you don't jump to put jeans on, baby, you don't feel my pain. Please don't leave me hype. Hey, I can't argue with you, lazy bitches. I just miss my heart. And her mama was a savage. Raya got that shit from Sheena. She a savage. Hey. always fun. Welcome, and welcome back to The Good Witch. Sip with the witch if you must. Today, on this wonderful, beautiful, anointed, divine day, we have, and this one takes some time because this is one of the most important introductions that I've ever done. Not because of who she is, not because of what she's done, but because of what she is, what she has become, what I have watched her grow into, what I am proud to continue to watch her grow into. We have amazing single mother that has come from, look, y'all know my story, the homelessness, the abuse, all of that. You know my story. Hers isn't far from it. She has owned multiple companies. She is a boss in her field. She took the time to educate herself after making sure that her son was extremely well taken care of. She is my best friend. One of the truest forms of love in my life. Because we love each other for nothing. Just because. So welcome. Good Witch family, friends, and foes. The amazing Miss Coya Jones.
Hi guys. I'm so nervous.
What was that?
Hi guys. Thank you for having me. Thank you.
So, y'all know The Good Witch is all about getting different perspectives from different people without judgment, without blame, getting the open, honest truth about their views on spirituality, earthly things, finding the oneness in us all, helping us all tap into the grander design of things, removing so much separation so that we can see so many likenesses, that we all just become one. And the woman sitting next to me, the amazing goddess sitting next to me, will have a lot of great input for that because she has been through so many things and gotten through so many things gracefully and some ungraceful. But, that was yesterday, and today, you know what? Every moment I made new, and she lives in it. And she teaches that, and she has a lot of followers, and she teaches her followers that. And also allows them to be 100% their authentic selves, just like I do. You can be spiritual, you can be godly, and still be human, and still enjoy the things in life that your flesh enjoys without feeling so guilty by it. You don't have to let goodness weigh you down. It's not supposed to be a weight. It's supposed to be lighter than a feather. And people get bogged down by it, and she helps everybody learn how not to. And we appreciate her for that. And we're going to talk to her about how she got to that point. So, Miss Coya, Or would you rather be called Miss Gerald's today?
You can just call me Coya.
I call you Clay. Okay. Okay, Clay. So, tell us a little bit about you and your journey. Like some of the most impactful moments in your life.
Honestly, I would say the most impactful moment of my life was moving here to Houston. Um, as you know, I don't have very much family here at all. I have a blood cousin here, but that's about it. So I moved here, I believe I was 26 or 27, and I just took a chance. I was just really honestly tired of Indiana. I went through a lot there. Um, I felt like Indiana was way too slow for me. And I got into a lot of trouble because it was really nothing to do but just, for me, just do the most, which I am the most. But it got me into a lot of trouble. So I decided to take a chance and move here. And it has been one of the just honestly best decisions of my life to move here. It helped me grow. It helped me become into my own person. I didn't depend on my parents anymore, my family. It really helped me to be a stronger woman, in my opinion.
So, what gave you the courage to jump from Indiana to Houston with a child, with no person here that you're extremely close to, with no one to reach out to for help? Where do you think that type of courage comes from?
Honestly, I think it just came from maybe just being sick and tired of my circumstances. Indiana didn't have a lot to offer at the time. It just, as I keep saying, was so slow, and it was just like the job market, the unemployment rate was high. So just being laid off from position to position. And it was too much for me. And I'm just thinking like, okay, I have this kid and I know that I need to be a role model for this little boy. Houston has a lot to offer, so my deciding factor was I looked at Indiana's unemployment rate versus Houston's unemployment rate. And I'm thinking, okay, I have this one cousin there. So, I mean, if anything does really go awry, just like insane, at least I'll have her. But the courage honestly just came from within myself. Wanting better for my son. I want him to have a better chance at any and everything than Indiana could offer, honestly.
Okay. So you said you found it in yourself. Mm-hmm. How often have you looked inside yourself for the answers that you seek?
I don't think I just have like a set number, but most of the big decisions that I make, I would say maybe like 10%. I just, it's not a set number. It just really depends on the circumstances.
Okay. So is it more often now? Like, has it grown? Have you begun to look inside yourself more or less as you've grown?
Being raised in the church, because my mom was a frequent church goer and we had to go to church basically every freaking day. Mm-hmm. Every day.
Understood?
Yeah.
Overstood.
Every day.
Understood.
Sunday, Wednesday, Saturday. I'm just like, okay.
Yeah, girl, I even had to go when my mama needed me.
Yeah.
Just had the band come pick me
up. Me too. And then she sent us off to vacation Bible school. I'm like, but I would say as I've become a strong, independent woman, making big decisions, really, I would just say I do still seek maybe scriptures that would help me out, but as of now, I think I lean more towards, like, when I say my prayers, I include the universe and God. So it's like it just goes one-on-one to me. So I don't know. It's like I feel like the universe is me, but then I also feel like God is who I pray to. So I just put them together.
So, I teach that God and the universe are one. and we are the universe and God. So we are all one.
That's where I got it from.
Yes. So we are all one
Yes.
big one. We're all one big piece of the same one. I am a part of that one. You are a part of that same one. Grace is a part of that one. Diana is a part of that one. Coy is a part of that one. We're all a part of the same thing. So as I grow, you grow, and as we grow, they grow, and as they grow, and it expands. So people don't often understand that, especially people that were going to church as much as we were, because church has taught us so often. Not every church is the same, but most churches, most mosques, most religions, most organized religions teach you to look outside yourself instead of inside yourself. Now, if you go into study on your own, you can find and prove what you need to do.
Correct.
But just sitting and being told,
and not having a brain for yourself.
right? If you, most people are sheep. If when you get the flock, let the sheep follow.
Exactly.
So if a lot of people are sheep, so if you tell the sheep something, they'll believe it. If I tell the sheep you can't have water until the shepherd takes you to the lake, when there's nothing between you and the lake, and that's constantly ingrained in you, you'll forever go to the shepherd for water instead of to the lake.
Exactly.
And then you gotta wait on them to get finished eating, because you got shit to do.
Exactly.
So you gotta sit there and be thirsty while the shepherd figuring it all out.
And just
Right.
wasting time, honestly.
So once you learn to look inside yourself, that's why I ask you how often. When you learn to look inside yourself, you understand I can go to the lake, but at the end of the day, I am the lake.
Yes.
So there is no reason for me to be thirsty.
And that's why I say I think the best decision for me moving here, the highlight, and I'm just being totally honest, the highlight was, I think I met you maybe a year after I moved here. And when you told me what you did, that probably would scare some people away, but I was like, oh my God.
Yes, she did.
I was like, tell me more right now. Tell me everything.
You got some cards?
I think I did.
You did. Just like you got some
I
cards.
was like, tell me right now. But I'm just like, yes. So, I mean, you've been a big part of my growth here. I mean, and as a woman, like, like you said, just being there in Indianapolis, a lot of my family, they grew up apostolic. So we went to church all the time. And
Oh, y'all had boy in church.
Well, yes, we did. But anyway.
Girl, we was Pentecostal Kojic. We was running around jumping, doing backflips.
So I was gonna say, but then like my mom moved us to Oklahoma.
Okay.
And we were Baptist.
That's different.
So Baptist was way different than apostolic. Like apostolic, it was just like basically Catholic to me. Like you just sit there and you just listen. But then this other church we went to in Oklahoma, it was like everybody's running up and down the aisle, and everybody got the Holy Ghost, and I just thought it was just like a little club or something. I'm just like, hey, I want some.
I did too when I was little. I felt like church was the club, especially the boys and girls.
This is a party. Yeah, I'm like, this is a party. Somebody cover there.
We're gonna dance.
I hope your followers don't get mad at me for saying that.
Yeah, it's so much fun.
But when I see it, I was just like, oh, okay, this is different, but I still don't want to come to church every day.
It's like 2 nights a week.
I was just not what to do. But yes, but then, like, I mean, I still didn't believe it. I always knew that something was different because I used to always tell my mom, like, I don't believe everything that pastor is saying. And she used to just tell me, like, be quiet. I'm like, no, I'm not going to be quiet. Because I don't believe every single thing that he's saying. Like, if that's the case, if everything he's saying, like, how am I just existing because I know that everyone says, like, and I don't want to sound like something.
This is an open space. You can say whatever you want. There's no curse word barriers. There's no judgments. This is open space.
Okay, this is what I started to think after going to that church for so long, that Baptist church. This is what made me start breaking away and start helping me or making me think on my own, because this pastor was there and he's preaching to everybody and he's saying all these different things. You know, he's supposed to be giving you the word, giving you the spirit, but then he gets busted for having prostitutes in his car and having bags of weed in his car.
The Holy Ghost, and
I'm
Sprinkle
like,
with the herbs of the Lord.
you have weed and prostitutes in your car, and then my mom was telling me how she went to counseling and he tried to like push up on her, and I'm just like, this. And when I have my son, she's like, go up there and have him baptized. I'm like, that devil is not baptizing my son. You're not putting spirit on my kid. Like, you can do whatever you want with the rest of your grandkids, but this one will not be going. So when I seen that and she told me about that experience, I'm just like, so this guy who is preaching supposedly the word of God is out here just doing the mosty most.
Right.
And I'm 18, 19. When you, well, for me, when I heard about that, I was like, okay, I need to start searching other places. But then, thereafter we moved to Indiana, and I still was like trying to go to church and get back into it, but I still wasn't satisfied. But then when I moved here, and I met you, and you told me about a different way.
The people blaming stuff on me and her mama watching.
Told me about. I mean, you enlightened me
I
into
told
a
her about
different way. Well, I'm not saying that I'm not a Christian, but it's
I
like,
know, but you know your mama. I'll be like, that's the one.
Yes, she will.
Look at
She'll be fine.
I love you.
She'll be fine. But then when you enlighten me into a different way, I'm just like, oh, I was more interested in learning. Like, okay, tell me more. That's why I think I just like stuck to you. I was just like, she's not going anywhere because she's gonna tell me more about this.
So, because we all know I'm not a Christian, but I love God and I love Jesus and I love all those things. Because there is nothing that says we shouldn't. I just don't hate anything else. I don't think anybody else is wrong either. There's more right than there is wrong. That's why we're here to learn about the oneness and what makes us all similar. Because I'm sure there's a Muslim girl somewhere that's very similar story about me mom.
Oh, like my friend.
Right. I'm sure there is a Buddhist somewhere that has a similar story about a monk or about a spiritual advisor. I'm sure there's someone in a cult somewhere that has a similar story about their leader or whatever you call those cult people.
Leader.
There you go. I'm sure there's someone in hoodoo somewhere that has a similar story about a priestess or a high priest or a mambo. I'm sure there's someone of every religion that can relate to that particular situation, whether the names would just be different. The places would be different, but the storyline is the same. And that's what people get mixed up, and that's what I try to teach people. Because, no, I don't think all priests molest children. But I know some pastors do too.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Everybody's not on that straight and narrow.
Right. So. And I know, just like most pastors don't. Most priests don't.
But you do have those little sprinkles.
But you have those sprinkles. So you have some cultures where it's more, prominent, like with everything. But it's not because it's them, it's because it's more openly accepted there in certain spaces. It's not like Christian women aren't ever abused or shamed or told to be covered or anything of that nature.
Because they're told to come as you are.
To come as you are. And it depends on your church, because honestly, if we showed up like this, they have a problem.
Oh, trust me, I know.
So me too.
That's the type of church that my mom goes to right now. Me and my son was just reflecting on it this morning when I took him to get his haircut.
Right, but if you say come as you are, and this is how I am, why I can't show up?
And she goes to one of those like really strict churches where if you're chewing gum, they want to come over and be like, put the napkin. I'm just like, how girl, what you want? Just like, yeah, they don't really
like I'm not gonna spit in your hand, ma'am.
Yeah,
I'm an adult right now, and what I'm not gonna do is spit this gum in your hand.
They don't really mean come as you are. They mean come how we want you to be.
Right. Very much so.
Yeah.
And that's with basically everything. So just like there's some Muslim girl who would get in trouble for wearing a red hijab to mosque. Or no hijab to mosque. there's some Christian girl somewhere that got in trouble for wearing red lipstick and red nail polish and not having no stockings. And, you know, having a dress that's, yeah, somebody got a whipping for that too.
Yes.
So,
when I was young,
but
it's the
same
thing.
Right. There's some Hindu girl somewhere that didn't put on her clothing right that got in trouble for that. Just like when we look at the homosexual community, you can look at it in any religion. It's the same thing. So we focus on the similarities that we want to, but we don't focus on the good similarities.
Yeah.
We don't focus on that we all believe that there's one true God.
For instance, with my mom, when I stayed in India, because she still stays there, but I had a lot of homosexual friends, a lot, because when I started working at this one particular job, I'm not gonna give them that name because they don't deserve it on the channel. But when I started working at this one particular job, I mean, it was a few of them that worked there, and for me, I've always been open. I love everybody. I don't judge anybody. I don't care what you do. You can have one finger, two toes. I don't care. You're gonna be my friend.
And that was one thing we had in common initially. I don't care what you do.
Yes.
Are you happy?
What you do?
Are you happy? Okay.
You're my friend. So he started inviting me to these parties, and of course, you know, it's like gay parties. So I'm gonna go, and then that's how I started going to Pride every year. Remember I told you the person that y'all like, I'm going to Pride with y'all. I don't care what I do. Pride, yes. So I'm like, I love everybody. But she asked me one day, like, why are you going to these Pride parties? Like, do you have something to tell me? And I'm just like, yes, that you should love everybody equally. Like, you should love everybody equally, and I still feel that way. And she just was not having it until my sister here recently. One of my sisters came out and said, "Oh, I have a girlfriend." I'm just like, how do you feel about that now? I mean, but still, it's like you should not judge a person. I don't care what you do, who you go to bed with. It all depends on their heart. That's what you should love a person for.
Right. Absolutely. So that's a little bit about you. Into you, right? That actually says more about you than any experience you've been through. Is how you see people. It says way more about who you are. So looking into, I'm going to ask you a couple of questions and you tell me your thoughts.
Okay.
So, are you your age range? You're in your 30s.
Wait, am I?
Of course not. Of course not. You are a single mother. You have a son.
Yes.
You are raising a beautiful black man.
Yes, absolutely.
In America. You have been in relationships with different races of people.
Yes.
You are multiracial.
Yes, I am.
You have traveled a lot and seen a lot of different places.
Absolutely.
And know a lot of different people from all walks of life.
Absolutely.
Okay. So I asked all those questions because I'm going to ask you specific questions about your thoughts on things.
Okay.
If you were to see someone, would you know the difference between a demonically possessed person or a mentally ill person?
Right off the bat, no. No, I wouldn't.
Okay. And you said right off the bat, keep going.
Okay, so right off the bat, no, I would not. Because you don't know if a person, like right off the bat when you see them, you may have this first impression that they're just acting a certain type of way that you don't feel is correct in that sense. But no, I wouldn't know right off the bat until maybe I talk to them or something. But no, not right off the bat.
And I ask that because I think a lot of people that are in the mental health system, and you work in the school system.
Yeah.
So in the school system, I see it as well. A lot of children are diagnosed with diseases.
I actually work in the department.
Yeah.
Like I work with the SPED kids, which
Right.
is special education kids.
So a lot of those kids are diagnosed with diseases.
Mm-hmm.
And what they have are sometimes emotional issues.
Oh yes.
What they have sometimes, rarely, but sometimes are physicians, or they've had parents who allow different spiritual entities into their home that they attach to and cling to.
Or the parents themselves.
Or the parents themselves, because they have these different energies from their parents. They pick up their parents' curses and their parents' demons and they carry them with them. So they need to be energetically healed versus medicinally sedated.
Yeah.
And people that see them every day eventually can tell the difference. Because you know, if I'm giving you Ritalin and you steal 50 miles an hour and you're crying, everything isn't meant to be medicated. Sometimes we need to sit with them and ask them, what's going on with you? What's wrong? Listen to them. Because sometimes they will tell you, I had a girl tell me, I have a client, she's about 4, and she's a client. Because they thought something was wrong with her, but if you listen to her, she told them, Father Mommy keeps talking to me. When I go to sleep, I see a lady there. She looks foggy, but she looks like my mommy, and she keeps talking to me.
Oh, that's deep.
Right. And the little girl, and it's not something that she's making up. Why would she lie?
Not 4 years old.
She didn't want any attention. She didn't need anything. She's not asking for anything. You ask her a question, and she'll talk to you. And you ask her the same question in 3 weeks, she's going to tell you the same thing. And it's a different type of behavior. And she'll sit certain things around. Why are you sitting that right there? So Father Mommy I'll know what Father Mommy can smack it over. And I see these little kids like that, and then you send them to school and they put them in SID. Because she can't focus at school because she's up all night fighting with Fog Mommy or trying to ignore Fog Mommy, and she can't sleep. And they wonder why she's falling asleep all the time, or she's not focused and she won't pay attention. She's seeing something. And she's trying to tell you somebody's standing right there, or I see something. And you say, oh, well, she must be crazy.
They just try to give her medication.
Yeah, they just give her medication.
Yeah.
Instead of trying to figure out, instead of trying to believe, we don't believe them.
Yeah. I see that a whole lot in my field. Just because my employees, when they go out, a certain kid, they can be like, oh, from the previous year, this kid did this kid is this way, this kid would do you like this. But then a whole different employee goes in and they work with this child and they come back and was like, that kid is not as bad as what you said. Or that kid is not as bad as, or did this or did that. And I'm just like, well, what did you experience this year with that kid? And it's totally different because this person had the patience, they work with them, they listen to them, and I just tell them all the time, even though they label these kids as special education, does not mean that they don't know the difference between maybe right or wrong, or they don't know how to communicate with you. It's just they may not have been able to communicate with the person before them or before you.
Right.
Just for the simple fact their energy, they may not have felt safe or felt like comfortable that they could talk to them.
Okay. And have you personally been able to talk to any of these kids?
No. So since I'm the manager, I don't typically go out and talk to all the kids individually. But for my employees, I do ask them to not take into account what the person the year before said.
Right.
Work with them yourself, and then I get reports from them. And then if they continue to say, well, this kid did the same thing the person said last year, okay, well, let's go a different angle. Or maybe this kid may not be able to communicate with you. Like, we do have some children that can't talk. So I'm like, let's make pictures. And then if they point to a certain picture, every day, maybe they are wanting this, or they want to talk about this, or maybe you can work with them, teach them how to say hi. Like, you just never know. So I just always tell them, don't go off with the person before you said. Work with this kid yourself, because
the kid may say something energetically with that other person that's just off.
Correct.
Like, I already know you don't like me, so I can't.
Or
I can't trust you. You're scared of me. I can't trust you.
Right. So if you go in scared, they sense that, and they're gonna be like, "Oh, you're scared of me," so they shut down. But if you go in And I'm not saying you have to be like dominant, but if you go in and you talk to them, you just never know. Like I had one kid they labeled as just horrible, and then this attendant this year she was on it and she's like, that kid, I taught him how to do this, that. His behavior has totally changed. The parent even came to the meeting, like the school board meeting, was like, I want to personally thank this person because she's taught my kid how to do this. Like I've never been able to get him to do this, and he's in 5th grade. And I'm just like, those type of stories are amazing.
They are. I love how she finds the beauty in everything. So finding the beauty in working with the SAD kids, or even not even working with them hands on, but getting the stories back and finding more into the beautiful stories.
These are people's treasures, just like my kid or your kid or their kid. Like just because they label them as special education does not make them less than. Is how I feel.
Have you had any supernatural experiences ever?
Maybe the first time I smoked weed. I don't know.
That's a high experience, man.
Okay. I tried weed 2 times, guys. And the second time I was like, I'm never doing this crap again.
I clearly never said I'm never doing this crap again. That's not my life.
It is not for me. I will stick to just the wine. Nope. No, but yeah, when I stayed in Oklahoma, I don't know if this is supernatural or not, but I was talking to my dad and I was telling him when I moved into this house, it was my very first house. I was 19. I just knew I was popping because I had a house. Everybody else had a little apartment, but I had a house. And I was like, I got a house. I'm 19 with a kid. I'm doing some stuff. But every night, it maybe started like maybe 2 months after I moved into this house. And every night that I would go to bed, I would have a dream that it was a dark figure. And I still remember to this day because he used to freak me out. It was a dark figure. He was standing right outside of my bedroom. He had like a long pea coat and this like top hat. And every single night I would have the same dream. He would come walking down the hallway. In my bedroom, you couldn't see down the hallway, but you could see like the shadow. And somebody was coming down and he was standing right there at my door. And he would tell me to get out.
How long did you stay?
I mean, I completed my lease. I wasn't paying no lease rent. Like, yeah, I'm getting out your house.
You messed up the shit up here.
But it was that every single night. And then like I was at first, it was a scary dream, and then it was like repeated. And it may not have been every night. That may be exaggerating, but it may have been literally like once a week, and maybe like at the 3-month mark, I'm just like, I don't know what this is, but I keep having this dream, and this guy is scaring me. Because now, like at that point, he was not coming to my door anymore. He was going to my son's door, which his door was like a jar from my room. And that one night that I seen him go to my son's room, like I could have swore I woke up. Like I woke up, but I still seen him standing there at Coya's room, and he was telling my son to get out. And that night, my son woke up and was telling me he had a bad dream. And after that, I was like, oh no, I don't know what's going on. So I was talking to my dad about it, and he was just like, oh, you didn't know in our bloodline, he said we are in touch with, I'm like, no, I don't know who you in touch with. Dad, I don't know who you in touch with. I'm not in touch with any of those people.
That's for me in my house.
I don't know what's happening right now. He was just like, yeah, that's normal. He was like, we see beyond. I'm like, you may, but I don't want to. You tell them to take the blood out of me. I'm not with
it. Daddy, take your blood back.
I'm not with it.
And she is such a daddy's girl, which is hilarious.
Oh my God, I'm like, you take that back with you because I don't want none of that. I don't want no parts. Me and my son is good. But then I started talking to my grandma about it. She was just like, yo, it's true. We have it. I'm just like, look, I don't know what you guys have going on this side of the family, but I don't want it. But I did end up, like, he was just telling me, like, okay, well, maybe it's something within the house. Maybe it's somebody trying to tell you something. And I talked to my landlord, and he actually told me 2 people have passed away in that house and they found him in that house. And I'm just like, you didn't think that was important to tell me before I signed this lease? But he was like, no.
No, it wasn't. Man.
Yeah, it was a guy. He said it was a guy who had died there like in the early 60s, but then his mom had just passed away in the same house. Like, I think he said maybe like 4 months before I moved in. I'm like, you didn't think that was important to tell me? Her spirit is still locked here or something. Like, or his is one of these people in his freaking top hat.
Right, somebody here. They won't be out.
They want me to get out.
So how did that stop for you?
I told my mom about it. And I told her what he said, and she clearly came over there shaking all her holy oil everywhere and crossing everything and putting Bibles in every corner. And I'm just like, I'd never seen him again.
Okay. So, yes, that is supernatural experience.
It still freaks me out to this day because I'm just like, what would have happened if I would have never said anything?
Okay, anything else that you can think of?
No, that was like the only. Yeah, that's like the only thing.
Do you remember the night you were staying here and you would have gotten to bed with Cece?
Yes. I totally forgot about that.
Pause. Are we good?
We need a break.
Okay.
Okay.
I felt like something was happening and I'm going to go back to that.
Okay. I totally forgot about that.
Because Cece called me.
It was people here.
Did we catch all her stories?
We caught all her stories.
Okay.
No, that night was still freaky.
I don't think you ever told me that story.
That night was fucking freaky, girl.
No, I mean the story of your house.
Oh, yeah, girl.
I think it's not that.
How we looking?
Looking good.
Okay. Okay, you can check on Coya now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I have no phone.
Oh, whatever.
I think it's on the floor.
Oh shit! It's 6:20. We've been doing this all day.
Damn, pop that off of me.
But I think you gotta go to the iPhone store, though, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can I give you my phone if you have to go?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it doesn't close till 9. Is that what you said?
Yeah, I think she said 8.
Okay, we'll probably wrap this up in like the next 30 minutes or so. 45 minutes at the max. So we should be done by 7. And if you need to go before that, that's fine. Just take my phone.
Sure will.
Loraya, come here. What time does your play start?
7.
Y'all ready to go?
Almost.
Okay, if I don't take you, I'm gonna Uber you.
Which means I'm gonna Uber you.
Huh?
Which means I'm gonna Uber you.
You want me to Uber you? Okay. Yeah. Unless if Grace is leaving to go to the store, you know more because it's around the corner. But if not, I'm gonna Uber them there and just let me know. Okay.
Hand positioning has been perfect. You guys are on point.
Okay. Hand positioning has been good. You know, point. No crack shots.
No crash shots. I've been watching.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to stay like. So I don't.
So we're gonna start at another supernatural experience.
Okay.
And what else are we gonna talk about? And then we're gonna talk about us and your friendship with me and
Then I want to go either.
okay. So huh?
Like actual drunk.
Like actual drugs? Are you hungry at all? Yes. Okay, so we had talked about when we got done going out to eat somewhere, like I'll go with them to eat, or we can go, we can drink and they can eat.
I'm gonna eat too.
Okay, and then we'll dip out. We'll go. I'll even go to Washington with you. Or Montrose.
Washington. Okay, I like Montrose.
Just not Third.
I'm
I
so
want to try to
gay,
take
but
you to
not
Third.
gay. Like I just love it.
She is the straightest gay person you would ever
Fuck
meet.
everything.
She only gay when she drunk.
And then I'll just be like, just let me feel your titties. As soon as they let me, I'm like, we're friends now. You never get rid of me.
Random people.
Oh my God, they're so real.
For real. I seriously do. As soon as I get drunk, I'll be like, hey girl, are those real? Let me just feel it.
Oh yeah.
Definitely be
Yeah, she fluffs them.
I do.
It's like, oh yeah, these are.
Oh my God.
They're so soft.
I'm like, these are award winning. Did you know that?
What's your nipple look like?
I do. Every time this love titties, like, I love them.
And she like
I
ass
don't give a
too.
damn.
Somebody walk
I
by.
do.
Yeah.
I do. Like,
Look at her ass.
like, your random ass girl, she's
Loud.
like, smack, and she turn around and be like, girl, I just had some.
Look at that thing moving.
I'm like, girl, yeah. Like, look
She
at that.
said she's the straightest nuts.
At that.
Straight gay person.
I swear.
But I understand. It's,
Yeah.
I do. I embrace everybody. I love everybody. And he tell me all the time. He's
So
like,
nice.
he said you are too trusting. I'm just like, you know what? I just love people.
oh, PT Dub, all of that was recorded on stream. It'll get cut out. I was just letting you know.
But we're still recording. I'm playing with my boobies.
Oh, that part I said about everything was true because I do love to make friends.
Sit up, Sheeta. Maybe I'm tripping.
Her
Is
boobs
it
just jiggle
even?
everywhere. I mean, they just jiggle right now because she's leaning more towards that way. That one kind of looks bigger, but it's because this the cuffs right here.
Yeah,
Thank you.
because it's not.
It needs to be pulled down just a little bit, or either that needs to be pulled up a little bit.
Yeah, it's not
No,
centered.
the other boobie.
The queen is not centered.
No,
What about-
he said the boob.
Mm.
Well, we don't.
Now Tony showed me the intro they made, and there was one that was just a straight boob shot. It was just like coming from here.
We don't want
You
you
take
to
it out.
tuck them
You
down.
take it out, you take it out now. Don't you do that to me. It was like the Sip with the Witch promo, and it was just like, it was one shot where it was just this. Why is that there in the middle of everything? Why? Why is that picture
Then
there?
if I would have seen, I'd be like, that's perfect, guys.
Right? Like no face, no necklace.
I'd be like, that's the one.
Yeah.
That's
Because what?
That's the
Because
one.
I'm telling you.
I was like, he was like, John, you really want it out? Yes. Yes.
Cause
Check it out.
it's gonna be somebody that's gonna see that and sit through the whole episode and not change it. Right. Just for that.
Look at
See?
I'm like, this show is so interesting. Look at this.
the thanks.
This show is great. I'm telling my friends, like, did y'all see this one show?
This is a girl in there. She had dreads and big old titties.
Did y'all see that? Like, what are you talking about? Let me show you. I'm just gonna forward everybody the link.
He knows.
That does not justify the booby shot.
She just justified the booty shot.
I'm talking to StreamYard.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So this is like, we took a break. We'll come back. We'll cheers, and then we'll ask about.
I need to cheers more of mine. Let them drunk half
Cheers to you making, that spiritual experience. And I'm gonna ask you about another spiritual experience.
We tap that like it was a shot.
Habits.
Bad habits must die.
Girl. Not bad habits, just habits. I'm gonna take one at the end of the show. Before we head out. Okay. Let's see. So, tell me about another spiritual or paranormal experience that you've had.
I don't think I've had another one since that one.
Okay.
I don't think so. I can't remember another one right now.
Okay, but what about the night at my house?
Girl. I forgot about that one. Wait, that one was
And she
probably
didn't
way
even
more
tell
freaky.
me about this one. Another one of our friends told me about this one because she didn't run to me and tell me.
That was like the most freakiest thing ever. That was probably way more scarier than the one I just told you about. It was somebody here. Somebody was here. Somebody was here.
There's always somebody here.
Well, I don't want them talking to me, okay? Because I'm not with it. Because all I know is I was asleep and somebody came to talk to me and I was freaked out and I just was like, hell no. So I woke Cece up. I'm like, did you see that person? And she was like, go to sleep, drunk ass. I'm like, nah, I ain't drunk. I'm like, I'm not drunk. Somebody just trying to talk to me. She was like, nobody is here, everybody is asleep. I'm like, no, somebody was here because she just tried to talk to me. And I was like, then she went downstairs. And she was just like, nobody is here. So she just kept telling me to go to sleep. I'm like, I'm not fucking going back to sleep. Because I know somebody touched me. Like, I know I'm not crazy. Like, yes, I have been drinking, maybe a little heavily. But I'm like, I never experienced that in my life. And she went back to sleep, and I didn't go back to sleep until it was time for me to go the next morning. So I'm like,
And she left earlier than everybody else. So I'm up the next morning. Or actually, no, this is after work the next day. My friend laying in the bed, Cece, and she tired. I'm like, what's wrong with you? Couldn't sleep last night. Why? Your fucking spirits kept Coya up and kept your fucking friend kept me up. Your fucking spirits and your fucking friend kept me fucking up. I was like, tired in a meeting, falling asleep. And she told me, she was like, the crazy girl came in here, laid in the bed with me. My son's trying to sleep. I'm trying to sleep.
I'm like, no. I'm like, no, somebody just came in there and like literally it felt like somebody did me like this and I just freaked out and I just ran in her room like, is somebody else here? She was just like, nobody's here. Everybody's sleeping. I'm like,
she
no.
didn't tell me that grabbed you. She told me
I woke up out my dead sleep and you know when you drink like, you know, a little bit more than you should. And we are in a heavy sleep. And I'm like, no, somebody touched me. And when I woke up, it was just like a random lady standing there. And then when I actually like rubbed my eyes and I'm just like, wait, what the fuck? Because who is this? Because it didn't look like you. It didn't look like her. And I'm like, who is this? Because nobody else was here. No.
You remember what she said?
No. All I remember is I was just startled. And all I know, I jumped out the bed and I went to Cece's room. She was going to save me. If I was going to die, we had to die together.
That's that real friends. If I'm dying, you dying too.
If I get possessed, we gotta get possessed together. Like, no.
I can't do this on my own.
Why me, God? Why me? Take both of us. We gonna do
like, your spirits don't like her.
At all.
Because Cece sees stuff, and she just, because she's been here for like a year, so she sees stuff, and she just be like,
she told me.
Don't start that dumb shit.
Man, she told me.
My
she
business.
Was like,
and that's how she would handle that's how she handled being at my house, because my friends, we all lived together for a while. I bought a house way too big for just me. And it was just like, so they came, and Cece was just like, nope. I tell them, I'm minding my business. Don't start that fuck shit. Like, you do not talk to people that way.
She told me that afterwards because I freaked out. And
she just
afterwards,
no, I'm not dealing with that. Go ahead.
She said, I just look and I see stuff. She said, I just be like, I'm minding my business. She said, I go back upstairs to my room. I said, oh, hell no. I don't do that. I said, I could have swore when your cat was in your room and your cat just kept doing this. And then it went back and forth. I'm like, that is not normal behavior for a cat. And then it just went there and just like was staring in the sky. I'm like, I said, Cece, I said, what is that cat staring at? She said, mind your business. I was like, I'm leaving. I said, I'm not staying here. And I'm like, I text like a million people like, hey, what you doing? What you doing? What you doing? So the first person texts me back, I'm like, let's go eat or something. I am not staying here.
Cece, I don't think it happened to you often, but Cece would come home in the middle of certain rituals. There would be people screaming and crying coming out of my office. There's naked people laying on the floor. It's all kinds of stuff happening in here. Big white circles, naked people laying around. There's fires in the back. And she's like, I'm going to Host Logos to have beer.
That's because she's calm.
I'm going to have some margaritas and some mojitos. See you when I get back.
Oh my God.
Text me if you need anything. She asked no questions. She ain't stared. She went straight up and down the stairs. In the door, out. In the door, out the door. In the door, out the door.
I don't know how. I don't know how.
She didn't ask
I
no
wouldn't even
questions.
ever go in your office. Like no time that I ever came over here. I think I've been in there maybe twice. And the first time I went in there, and I was like, I'm not going in there. She was like, well, the internet thing is in there. I'm like, I don't need internet that bad. I'll just wait till Sheena gets home. And she was like, just do it. We all need internet. That's when we was all home for COVID. And I'm just like, damn, they do want me to work. I went in there and I was just like looking around, just trying not to touch those, just like going, like stepping over stuff. I'm like, oh no.
But you sit in my office. You had reading in my office.
I had a massage in your office, but that was
Did
it.
you have a reading? Didn't I do a reading for you?
Not in your office. We did it over here. I would never go in your office.
We did it in the kitchen. Okay.
Yeah, no.
My office is not a scary place, and for those of you who watch my YouTube, you love my office. There's bones and candles and crystals and plants and life and skulls and
I had a
crystals
massage in your
and
office
candles.
before all that happened. As soon as you moved here.
Before I put
That was
everything out.
Right. So that's
I
why
had
I did
the
that twice.
check.
That was it. At one time, I really needed internet, and I was just like, please, any and every whatever's in here, please. I'm only trying to get internet, okay?
So positive, mostly positive things here.
Well, after that,
Lady woman, she won't be friends.
Oh, we not gonna be friends. I'll be friends with other aspects of life, not her.
You don't know. You like friends. You just said what you
Yeah, I said other. I don't know because she just I don't know. I really don't know. I don't ever want to see her again in my life.
As long as she didn't offer you like teeth, you're okay.
She probably didn't even have a chance to say nothing to me because she freaked me out once I blinked twice and you know that you're woke and you still see somebody standing right there.
My friend Rob, the one I told you about, that y'all kind of look alike, because I think she's black and Pakistani. Y'all favor.
Yeah, you showed me a picture of her.
And she came to Mexico while I was in Mexico, and she slept with me. Like she slept in the bed next to me the night before she left, and something woke her up out of her sleep, and it was one of my spirits, and she was so upset at me. She was like, "Shitty, you need to fix it. You need to fix this. You need to fix it now."
God.
I was like, "They ain't doing nothing to you," but hers was something different that I did actually have to go fix. It was a negative entity that I wasn't getting much attention to, that was reaching out to the people that were around me. So she and she's very, very spiritual and does a lot of like new moon rituals and things like that. Just cleansing spiritual rituals and, naturopathic things.
Well, to be clear,
So she was.
I'm just not into a whole bunch of that stuff. I am into thinking outside the box. So spirits, I don't want nothing to do with you. Okay. Just want to make that clear.
They love you. Someone.
No.
Cece was like, "Your spirits don't like her." Told you no new friends.
Probably I'm too freaking hyper. Like that's the one that be coming in stirring up the house. Soon as she get home.
Girl, that wouldn't be my house. That was something you brought home with you. That wasn't my spirit.
Not no lady. Ain't no lady on me.
Okay, so, and we party and we go out and we drink and we have fun, because I do believe you can be one with everything. And when I say everything, I mean everything. We do things that are safe. We do things that are secure. We do things that are fun. And we know a lot of people and we go a lot of places and we like being scenery and we like stuff. Yay.
Yes.
So I'm still me though.
Absolutely.
I'm always me.
Absolutely.
I can have on a full face of makeup and some stilettos and want to go dance in the rain in the middle of a storm in a club, because that's who the fuck I am.
This girl actually did it. She actually did it with my friends, and they didn't understand.
So, what has that been like for you? Because you do have a lot of either religious friends or just non-spiritual, not only call them friends, associates, people that you know and go out party with.
In the party ring, yes, I do know a lot of people. Some of them are spiritual and they're open about it, and some of them are just partylicious, I guess you can call them. They just want to party.
I like partylicious.
Yeah, I don't know anything more about them than party. But, yeah, so one time she and I did, well, I was invited to this exclusive little soft opening to this little place. And I'm just like, right here in Houston, and they're like, bring a guest. I'm like, who better to bring than my best friend? Who? And we go to this little soft opening, and we get in there, and it's like all these people that I know, of course, from partying or, you know, going out, events and stuff like that. And we're sitting in our little section they gave us, and maybe about 20 minutes later, it started to sprinkle. So, start to sprinkle, they don't want you to sit outside, they want you to go in the covered patio. So everybody's like getting up because security's like, hey, everybody going in the patio. And I'm like, oh, of course, you know, I'm walking over there. And I'm just thinking my friend is following me. Next thing I know, I turn around and she's still sitting out there in the rain like this. I was like, come on. And she was like, oh, I like the rain. I was like, for me, I'm like, well, that's my friend. Okay, whatever. She's going to stay out there. But the guys that invited me, they're just like, what is your friend doing? I'm like, I don't know, playing in the rain, I guess. Like security said, everybody come out. Everybody needs to come up here. I'm just like, well, I asked her and she already said no. So she's gonna sit out there.
She's not coming.
Yeah, she's
giving up.
She's like, by this time it's not sprinkling anymore. It's kind of like a light pour, and she's out there like just loving it. Like, yes, rain, yes. And I just said, literally, this is what she is doing. Yes. And she is literally like, yes, rain. I'm just like, oh my God. But for me, I'm like, I already know how she is. But my friends, and they're just looking at me, and they're just like looking at me, looking at her, just like, you're not going to tell your friend to come out here. I'm just like, there's nothing I can do. She loves the rain. Like, she's doing what she do. So I think she got the point when they started like looking at me, looking at her, and I'm just like, I don't know, maybe I started looking like.
Yeah, you was like, bring your ass.
Yeah, I started looking like, okay, that's enough loving that rain. Get your ass up here. We gonna get put out. So she finally came over. Like, she's still kind of like drenched because it's raining on her. And then my friend, he's like he's talking to me, but she was just like, oh, this is the one that you've been talking to. I'm just like, yeah, this is him. And she was just like, so he thinks that she like wants a high five or, you know, like a handshake. And as soon as he did this, she just grabbed his hand, just like, yep, he's full of bullshit. I was just like, oh my God.
Well, was I wrong?
She's like, yep, he's full of bullshit. I was just like, oh my God. And he just like looked at me, and she snatched her hand away, and he was still like this. And he just looked at me, and I was just like, oh, that's my best friend. And he told me, like when she snatched her hand away, like he looks at me, but she's walking away. And I was done with him. Yeah, I was like, this is my best friend. And he gonna say, don't you never bring her back. But I'm just like, oh my God.
And guess what she did?
We came back. Brought her right back. I was like, he invited me like 2 weeks later, was like, hey, I got this section income. I'm just like, perf. And he's like, yeah, it's my birthday. I'm like, okay, cool. I got
his birthday.
I got friends to bring. Okay, cool. And he's like, don't be bringing that one friend. I'm like, oh no, she's not gonna come. As soon as we got to that bitch, I'm like, we here. Like, you wanted me to come, she gotta come too. Your parent. I don't know what you're talking about.
And he still ain't shit.
Well, yeah. We're the same shoes like everything.
You hate those shoes.
I do.
It's not that they're bad shoes, it's that he doesn't think. I think he only has that one pair.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's not a trick or treat.
Yeah.
You gotta change your shoes.
Yeah, I don't like someone who's have surpassed my age. And you wear the same shoes like every day. Like every picture. Even the throwbacks that you put from like 2018 have the same shoes.
Well, we talked about it. Maybe he just orders the same shoes repeatedly. But either way, that's tacky as shit.
Yeah.
Step your game up.
It definitely is.
But that's ain't shit behavior. Just saying.
Well,
That's ain't shit behavior.
I don't give a damn about those shoes. I mean, when I go out, I just want drinks.
Okay. So I think we've covered a wide array of things, from the appropriateness of shoes.
I mean, that's apparently all you can like do. Like you can buy those shoes and buy bottles. So what? I don't know. Like you don't even know about credit.
Oh, you didn't know anything about credit.
Nothing. You are almost 40 and you still stay with your parents. Like I just want to drink. Like I don't know.
And at the time, I don't even know if you knew that. I just told you which.
You did, and I didn't know then.
No, you didn't know then.
I didn't know.
Because she actually liked him at this point.
Yes, I did.
She actually liked him at this point, and I was like, you can't.
Right?
Can't. It's so bad. My friends don't let me talk to you. I said like anymore. Not for a while anyway.
Absolutely not.
Shouldn't talk to ain't shit guys. I would tell you to ain't shit.
Oh God, you just saved me from something. Thankfully, saved me. I'm just like, oh my God, I don't even see how I didn't see. It was like we went out like every freaking other day. Like I didn't notice he had the same shoes in. That's what happens when you like people.
Yeah, you don't pay attention to their shoe game.
Oh my God.
It says so much. Let me see your shoulders. Oh, we got a match. Okay.
Yes.
Great.
I met your father.
Okay. I love her so much, y'all. So what do you see coming forward for you actually in your spiritual realm? Like, where do you see your spiritual growth heading?
So I told you today, I don't know what is going on with me, but I just feel, I woke up feeling different, or like maybe I'm opening a new chapter or something. I can't quite explain it, but I do feel like something is happening within my spiritual realm, or just growth, something. I don't know, I can't explain it. I feel different. I feel like I'm maybe shedding old skin, coming into something new.
Because of the season that we're going into from an astrological perspective, a lot of people will be doing that in December, going into January of 2021. We entered into the age of Aquarius, which is new beginnings, new openings. I remember everybody knows that one song from, I guess it was like the 70s or whatever. Age of Aquarius, age of Aquarius. Yeah, it's an actual thing.
Wow.
That song actually has meaning that people didn't pay attention to. And we are in that age currently, where this is the perfect opportunity for a show like this, for a platform like this, for all the esoteric beliefs to come back to the forefront, to people to start deep diving into the new them and the oneness that is all, understanding that there are no limits, no limitations on what you can have. There is no anything that's too grand for you to have, or anything that's too small for you to have. Understanding that you are the God, and the God is in you. There's one true God, and we are all it.
Right.
And there's one true God, and we are all it. And we are all a part of it. Because we look different, but we're made of the same things. Very similar to the star and the chair. Very similar to the cat and the tree.
The same element.
The same elements are in each of those things. The same energy is in each of those things. And going into this new age of Aquarius, we are all tapping into more than we ever have. And this is an opportunity for us to create that oneness. And what we do with that energy is going to be very important right now. And they're going to keep putting out distractions to keep you from focusing on it, to keep you from preparing for it. Because if they can keep people looking at the differences, they don't have to worry about the oneness coming. That's why this show is focusing on the similarities. so we can all become a part of that oneness and grow more as a conscious, unified, global system.
It's really deep. And we need that as of right now. Everything that's going on in this world, just keep saying every day, this world is just getting crazier and crazier.
And that's what they want us to see, but if you really look at it, it's getting calmer. At the same time,
It's a good balance.
There's
I mean, it's a lot of good
Right.
going on.
It's a lot.
It's a lot of bad going on.
it is.
It is.
And a lot of people are coming to the point where they have to make a choice. And friend, I must say that along this new journey, in this new age, I'm very, very, very proud to call you my friend. And to have you walk with me into the oneness that we are all becoming. Thank you, guys, for having a sip with the witch.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Love you, friend.
I love you too.